So guys, here we have another example of how to solve an absolute value equation. Um, I'm going to go through some of this so you understand it, but you are going to see something that happens that's going to help you become a little bit faster at solving these equations, because just like we learned whenever you might have one real solution or no solution or an infinite amount of solutions to an equation, there is a special thing that we can learn about absolute value equations that will actually help us make things quicker. Now, I'm going to go through everything, but I'll show you how something works here to make it more simple. That's what obviously our goal is, try to simplify things. So here you see this absolute value equation. This is still example 1 for lesson 7. I'm trying to get this all by itself. I'm not simplified on this side. Remember, we go back to the simplifying expressions on each side. I'm not simplified. I'm going to first take 8 away from both sides. The reason I do that is because if you're struggling on what should I take away, what property of equality should I use, what should I get rid of, here's a little something that can help you. Do you see how the x plus 6 is in your absolute value sign? That x plus 6 kind of goes together. So everything else that you have, try to take that away first. And when you're taking away everything else that you have, try to do the addition and subtraction first, and then try to do the multiplication and division second. It's just easier. It's more simple. So I'm going to get rid of plus 8. So in order to get rid of plus 8, I'm going to subtract that from both sides. That's my property of equality, subtraction. So if I subtract this from both sides, here's what I end up with. Over here, I'm still just going to have 3 times the absolute value of x plus 6. It's multiplication because it's stuck together. The 8 would go away because 8 minus the 8 would be nothing. And then over here, we'd have 5 minus 8, so positive 5, negative 8. So if you have 8 negatives and 5 positives, we're left with 3 negatives. So we will end up with negative 3 on this side. That's that adding and subtracting integers thing I kind of tried to teach you about earlier this year, about just putting them together, sometimes maybe faster up here. So now I'm still don't have the absolute value all by itself, but I'm going to get the absolute value all by itself by dividing both sides by 3, since this is multiplication. So to undo this multiplication, I can divide both sides by 3. If I divide this side by 3 and this side by 3, these go away. They cancel each other out in the numerator and denominator. And over here, we will have negative 3 divided by positive 3, which is negative 1. Now, here's the secret. The secret is absolute value that I told you earlier in example 1 is a distance. It is a distance away from 0. Distances in math are not permitted to be negative. Okay, we can't measure negative distances. We can go backwards. We just can't measure a negative distance. So there is actually no answer to this. There's no solution to this one. Okay, there's nothing that will work that will go in both ways. Now, say I forget that, because yes, I forget things every single day. I would solve this as I normally would any equation or any absolute value equation. So here's how I'd solve it. I'd say x plus 6 equals negative 1. So I would just rewrite the whole thing. And then when I write the other side of it, because remember, it's supposed to have 2 solutions. It has to have 2 solutions. It's going to say x plus 6 equals positive 1. And then I solve this and I take 6 away from both sides. If I take 6 away from both sides, I'm going to get x equals negative 7. And if I take 6 away from this side, I'm going to get x equals negative 5. Okay? Now, if I take this and I place it in here, negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1. It's not negative 1. It doesn't work. If I put this one in here, negative 5 plus 6, I get positive 1. The absolute value of 1 is not negative 1. Do you see why they can't work if it's equal to a negative? So if you get an absolute value equation and you simplify it and you get it down to your absolute value is equal to a negative number, no solution to it. Can't happen. Okay, that's just something that can help you become faster at math, just like the infinite solutions, no solutions, and real solutions. So we're trying to make you faster, and I know this is a lot of things, but remember, we're trying to do all this, guys, because you're going to make yourself better. And every time you make yourself better and you remember this little thing and this little thing that's making you more valuable. So you're going to become more valuable. So someday you're going to go out and look for a job, and guess who they're going to select for the job? They're not going to select the person that's invaluable. They're going to select you because you are valuable. So please, please, please try to remember these things. Write them down. You're not going to remember every single thing. It's impossible. But that's what helps us grow. That's what helps our brain become better. That's what helps us become better.